pull the hoodie over my face, skirting behind Phase 1 in the West Side apartments. I move quickly, rubbing my hands together and puffing little spurts of warmth into them. Phase 1 is much nicer than our own apartments in Phase 2. They even have platinum cards that unlock the gym by the office. Our apartments don't even come with a stackable washer or dryer, let alone other amenities. Each building in Phase 1 contained 2 units, compared to our 4, and the parking is covered. It takes about 7 minutes to walk from Phase 2 to Phase 1. I've timed it. And with a marginal error of 0.08 seconds, varying on the speed of the walker, I find that a brisk pace clocks in at mostly 7 minutes. I have not tested running. Huffing up the final hill, I stop and stare out across the lot. The buildings in Phase 2 look like badly colored models, each strung with mismatched, twinkling lights. Travis and mine is one of the top units, furthest to the left. Nestled close to the woods is the very last building to Phase 2, and the only patio not blinking with festive lights. I tear my eyes from the gingerbread scene and sneak over to the parking spaces by the gym. My hands feel cold and sweaty. I cannot stop them from shaking, so I stuff them into my pockets on my jacket. I pray the thin fabric keeps them constrained, at least for now. Tonight is the night I've been planning around for 3 long weeks. I crouch behind Tita's brand new Infinity GI, and I watch as the thin figures run in place. The whir of the cycles and treadmills can be heard through the glass. Tonight, the gym is packed with women, beautiful women, but only one is worth my time. Still, I take my time and marvel at their glistening, pale skin bouncing off the harsh glow. It rivals the moon's brilliance from the back alleyways in Fox Hollow. I stumbled across the neat little patches of homes several months ago. I'd fallen asleep and missed my stop after working a double shift. The moment I stepped off that bus, I knew this would be the place of my future home. The stars were brighter, and the air smelled like roses after the rain. I inhaled it like a well-seasoned addict, snorting a line of sugar. The hour bus ride and 2-hour hike, as I would come to find out, was well worth it. I envisioned myself sitting on one of the grand balconies, sipping cognac and smoking Cuban cigars. Travis always makes fun of me for it, calling me old man. Don't bother me. Not really. I'll get out of this place someday. I know it. Lately I've been at the library, studying every medical book I can get my hands on, especially anatomy books. Sometimes when Travis and I get lucky, we leech off our neighbor's wireless, and I can search up terms I do not understand. I even started riding the bus to the local community college. The advisor always has hair out of place, with a smile that never reaches her eyes.
How can I help you?
She'd look alright if she weren't so fat. I figure I can stick it out there for a while, get the basics. Then, hell, maybe go to the university downtown. I've been thinking about that a lot. You see, the human body is a symphony of evolution. It changes tempo and accommodates for the key changes. Only genes matter, and each strand of DNA can make up the hellish discord that people try to forget, or the heavenly chorus line that everyone remembers. It doesn't discern poor from rich. Genius can be born on the streets. You just gotta know the right people. People like Tita's father. It wasn't just about that, though. I knew I wanted her from the first time she handed me her bags. Thanks. I managed to snag a job at the Hilton, carrying luggage for $15 an hour. Not bad for someone like me. I always end up working at the usual places. Retail, fast food, stuff like that. I had to borrow money from Travis to buy clothes for the interview, yeah, but I've always paid him back. I always pay back. I'm going to buy more clothes soon. Or my boss will catch on that I lied about where I live. You gotta lie when you aren't born into wealth. It's just how it is. Fake it till you make it and all that shit. I remember being lost in Tita's perfectly straight hair. Each strand is meticulously arranged to frame her face and shoulders. It runs down her waist, and it's dark. Darker than those gourmet chocolate bars that cost $5 at Central Market. We talked the entire week she was at the doctor's retreat. I found out her dad was one of the top neurosurgeons in the U.S. and was hosting a lecture that week on the findings of children with autism. Tita really wasn't into that. She was more into anatomy, namely surgery like me. It takes vast amounts of patience and deft slicing skills with a scalpel. Her knowledge of the human body was more than spectacular. It was a form of art. Somewhere in the vast pool of human dredge, our bodies evolved from similar genes. It couldn't have been coincidence that she stood before me, barely 23, and almost through with her doctorates. She's privileged, yeah, but damn, girl, smart. We're the same, even in age. And I realized then, like now, that I need to show her my art. I can be just as precise. I've been practicing mostly on small to mid-size animals in the woods behind Fox Hollow. I'm careful to always bring a change of clothes and shoes. But then, the need has progressed, and I've found larger things. Softer things. It is amazing how easy women will follow a good-looking guy into the woods. Even some I barely know. All you have to do is single them out and know where to go. Sure, the bars are the easiest place. But those types, they don't do it for me. I like to find the odd ones. Like the ones that go to libraries or internet cafes. When I'm able to get internet, it's real easy to pick out women in chat rooms. They always leap at the chance to hook up. And one look at me is more than enough to convince them. And then off we go, hand in hand, to them dumb bitches' place of resting. Yeah, but wealthy women are the most exciting. They assume that I target them for money and open their pocketbooks. The look they give me when I open them instead is breathtaking. I never touch any of them, though. It makes my skin crawl just thinking of kissing their diseased... I don't even want to think about it. Only Tita can get a raise out of me that way. We are the 1% of better equipped and more evolved species. Not like my stain of a father. Asshole died and left 6 kids to fend for ourselves. And for what? Just to get his next fix. I'm never gonna forgive him for what he did to Faye. She was only 14. To a druggie, Faye was an easy meal ticket. Hey, baby. Man, no one questioned a hooker's age. In fact, shit, they probably knew. A few weeks later, Faye's beaten and half-burned body was dumped from the senator's limo behind the local Chinese buffet. I was the only witness. And no one believes a 9-year-old boy. When the senator drove past, he handed me a crisp $100 bill. I held on to that for 7 years. And then I proceeded to shove it down his daughter's throat later. No investigation was ever opened for Faye. She was born from an immigrant family. The other kids were legalized through the state and got into okay homes. Hell, even one of my younger brothers got into med school. I was too old for anyone to want me. No one wants a boy past the age of 5 or 6. No one, that is, except for Mal. I never told Travis about him. Probably never will. I don't think too much on that anymore. At least, I try not to. But sometimes it just kind of boils up all red, and I have to fix it. That's why I need to get out of this place. Go to school, and then work on my real passion. At least then I won't go to jail for what I do. I get paid to do it. It helped me become a part of society. Cracks me up to think that some street kid like me is going to cut all those suits with dicks for brains. I don't want to think about that now, though. I want to think about the silky smooth touch of Tita's bare skin and her beautiful toffee-colored eyes behind square rims. I want to think about her hand brushing mine as she slipped me a 50 that last night at the hotel. Through our long conversations, I gathered where she lived. I've been watching her ever since. She never misses a day of working out. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, she runs for 4 miles. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are gym days. And Sunday, she rides 50 miles on her bike. During the day, she attends school. And in the afternoon, she shadows under Dr. Stein at Presbyterian Hospital. Every second Friday night, at exactly 10 p.m., she carries out a large, black duffel bag and is dressed for a night out. Her friends must meet her, because I ain't ever seen anyone visit Tita's apartment. Not even her father. When she returns at 3 a.m., she's dressed in casual clothing, usually jeans and a t-shirt. I'm curious as to where she goes on these nights, and what, if not whom, she is doing. Never seen her with a man or a woman. Her driving is unpredictable. She drives the wrong way down one-way streets and never manages to get into an accident. It's almost as if she knows someone is watching her. Travis's Camry is no match. Even though Travis has a car, he doesn't want it. He prefers riding the bus. Strange kid. So I've been steadily paying it off. He says I only owe $2,000. Then the car is mine. I glanced down at my watch. It was almost time for Tita to get on the treadmill. I know I'm being pathetic, but you ain't never seen such bouncing beauties. The things I wanted to do to those tits. In heels, Tita is almost as tall as me, but her bones are small and delicate. She couldn't weigh more than 120 pounds. I never thought about that before, but tonight, it is important. My teeth chatter as I jump up and down. Next time, I'm borrowing Travis's coat. He never leaves the apartment much anyway. Yellow blinking lights catch my attention, and I bolt, barely making it in time to the drink machines. I'm barely around the corner when the guard drives up. The brakes squeal, and from my peripheral view, I see that he has stopped. I can feel him scrutinizing my every move as I dig for change. Please let me have the right pants on, I think. I relax as my hand grabs a crinkled wad of ones and I pull it from the stash. It's gonna cut into my food for the month, but this takes precedence. Hey, he says. I freeze at his command and rumble and turn. I pull the cowl from over my face and smile warmly. You have to disarm your opponent early, before he catches on. I saunter toward him, wearing the fake grin. I'm good at making it reach my eyes. I've mastered it. My voice raises an octave and I take on a casual tone. I once read an article that people find higher voice men to be non-threatening. Evening, officer, I say. The guard likes this form of respect and smiles. His face and hands are weathered, no doubt from years of hard labor or service. He walks with a limp, but tries to keep it hidden through controlled steps. If I had to guess, I'd say ex-military. He looks like a real hard-ass, even when smiling. Haven't seen you around. New to the building? He asks. He's testing me. He'll be looking for a change in speech or tone that will give away my true intentions. This is his turf. He'll know the tenant list. There's no sense in lying. Oh, no, sir. I actually live in Phase 2. Just came up to see my girlfriend. She's in the gym working out right now. I gesture toward the glass building. She's a curvaceous brunette on the far right. The guard lets out a low whistle and he turns back to me. I've been eyeing that piece for a while now. He admires her for a second too long, and I want to rip out his goddamn throat. Then he turns back. I never seen you with her, though, he says. I can tell I'm making him uneasy. I bother him, but he can't seem to guess why. I let out a chuckle and scratch the back of my head. Well, technically, she'd be upset if she saw me out here. If Daddy finds out we're dating, he'd flip a bitch. I lean in. I just like to watch her run, if you know what I mean. The guard leans over and laughs, slapping his knee. Aw, hell, is that why you were out here crouched behind the cars like some weirdo stalker? Someone has spotted me. This is unacceptable. I burst out laughing with him and nod my head. In my haste, I'd forgotten to fully scan the area tonight. There was no room for error, and now my whole evening is compromised. Sooner or later, though, Hardass was going to ask Tita about her boyfriend. Once he finds out the truth, there won't be any stopping him. No. I'm going to have to take my chances and go with the plan. What most the person probably saw was a guy with a hoodie standing behind Tita's car. No defining features or giveaways. Yeah, this is gonna work. It has to. Shaking his head, the guard gets back into his golf cart. I'd do the same if she were mine. The beep from the engine sounds, and the guard starts it up. Don't go around scaring my tenants no more, alright? I put on my best guilty face and incline my head. No problem. Won't happen again, I promise. I wave as he leaves and return to the soda machine. I need a plan. No doubt he will wait to see if I return to Phase 2. I got off lucky. He forgot to ask what apartment I live in. I stare at the white letters that are scribbled across the red machine. Maybe they will give me an answer. The black trim is stifling over the red glow. I want it to melt away so I can get to the cool innards. But it is strong. The only way to get to my prize is to wait while the coins fall in place. And the can comes to me. I just need to push the right button. I smile at the blue and red can that pops out. I know what to do. I shouldn't have gone for my ribs. I think one may be cracked. I had to keep the wound out of sight. Sergeant Guard thinks I don't see him behind the first building in Phase 2. His bulky form is easy to make out against the delicate branches of the dogwood. A stench of recently put out Black and Mild permeates the air. Maul's favorite. The red tinges my vision, but I push it down. I'm too close. I can't lose it now. I manage to make it up the stairs and into our apartment. Travis is curled up in his usual spot on the couch with his laptop. His mop of brown hair is barely visible over the monitor. Like most 18-year-olds, the computer is his life. The only difference is, Travis has social anxiety disorder. I usually have to do most of his errands for him, so I know this will be hard. "Travis, help!" I wheeze, falling to the floor. He jumps up and runs to my side. I feel kind of guilty for tricking the kid. This is the only way. I'm running out of time. In 30 minutes, Tita will have finished. By now, she's left the treadmill and has moved to the weightlifting. I'm impressed by her leg presses. The muscles beneath her flesh must be lean and strong. It will be a real treat to see them up close. I growl as Travis picks me up and walks me over to the couch. I tell him I've been jumped by some punks over in phase 2. He buys it. In less than 10 minutes, he's off picking up some meds from his online buds across town. I know the bus route. Take him 2 hours and 45 minutes to return. That leaves me just enough time. I hand him the hoodie and tell him to bundle up. It's cold outside. I smile as he pulls the hoodie over his face and walks out. I've chosen my double well. We have very similar body types, and from the distance the guard would be standing, we'd look identical. 5 minutes and 58 seconds later, I'm in front of the gym. I'm hoping she remembers me. It has been 3 weeks since she last saw me. The guard will get bored once he is convinced I am really waiting on the bus, and will leave. My only hope is that he doesn't confront Travis to find out why I'm leaving, when I am supposed to be waiting on my girlfriend to get out of the gym. But these are risks I will have to take. Tita is looking at her wrist now and moves to grab her coat. Right on time. She never disappoints. I walk over to her building and reach for my keys. I know she is right behind me as I pretend to be lost and looking around. I hate improvising, but this will have to do. I take one final look and start heading back to the path. I'm surprised to find her still watching me. She hasn't said anything, and I'm nervous. She doesn't remember. I try to walk past her, but she steps in my path. "Jason?" Her tone sounds guarded. I have to watch what I say. I look up, feigning surprise. "Yeah?" Tita is staring me down like all those rich people do when I walk through their neighborhood. I've had the cops called on me twice for just walking down the street. I'm tempted to do her here, right under the stairs. But then some asshole walks out of his apartment to smoke. I stick my hand in my pocket and run my thumb along the blade. I know it's just a dumb thought, but I'm still irritated by his intrusion. By now, the red is making my head throb. I can't last much longer. I need release. Soon. "What are you doing here?" Tita asks. Her eyes, normally soft and inviting, have turned to crystallized amber. This is not how I wanted things to go. I need to make her believe. This is my last chance. I look to the ground and cough, trying to look flustered. I just moved in. I've been at my parents' this last week, so this is the first time seeing the place after we moved all my stuff. I laugh, feeling like an idiot. I think I may be a bit lost. She doesn't look convinced. I'm debating my next sentence. If Tita doesn't buy anything I say, she'll never invite me in. That's why I nearly trip over myself when she does. "Oh my goodness, you poor thing. I've been there before." She gestures up to the stairs in her apartment. "You want to come up for a bit?" Her shoulders relax and she smiles warmly. I turn toward the building as if hesitating on her invite. Then I turn back. Yeah, sure. Tita prattles on about the weather outside as she puts her coat on the wall. She offers to take Travis's coat and I let her. I finger the chloroform cloth in my pocket. I'm safe from the guard now, but that doesn't worry me. What does is trying to get to Tita's car with a 120-pound duffel bag. Her apartment is just as I pictured it. Clean and white. Her minimalistic taste is almost unbearable. I want her now. I want to see the red across the crisp white rug. I want to fillet her honey skin on the deep walnut flooring. But I restrain myself. Sooner or later she will have to turn her back, and I will pounce. She crosses the room and turns off the TV. Would you like any tea? She asks. Yes, I do. Then Tita walks away. She leaves a trail of perfume. It's flowery and fresh, like the smell of linen. I slip off my shoes and stand. The stove is in the back of the U-shaped kitchen, and her back is to me. My hand is a miniature earthquake as I pull the cloth from my pocket and soak it with chloroform. I need this so bad. Just a few more feet and the red will go away. All the grunting men that stood over my naked bent form will go away. The tiny razors and cigars carving into my flesh will go away. Mal will go away. I'm behind her when she turns and smiles. Seconds later, there's a sharp pinch in my neck. I drop to the floor, and the world goes black. I wake in an all-white room. The brick is gray, and there's plastic lining the floor. The humming and beeping of the life-telling machines drone on. I cannot move. She stands before me, an angel in white. She is adorned in a blue sash that is wrapped once around her thin neck and drapes on either side of her breasts. It is tinged in various hues of red, some stains newer than others. Tita leans so close I can feel the heat radiating from her body. I saw you watching me, she whispers. She rises up, then pulls something from the table to my left. My eyes stretch as far as they can, and I'm barely able to make out the outline of a black bag. I look back to her. The knife glistens in her hand like a miniature sword. I see the same eagerness in her vision that often tinges mine. My gaze never leaves hers as she makes the first incision below my sternum.